So is she saying that Casey Fines is aware that Mustafa is suing the police? He's aware that he has a giant lawsuit that's worth almost $1 million against the police? That's what she's saying?
I think she is so desperate that this came up in court during the Brady motion.
I mean, was that a slip up or like what was that? I mean she's saying Casey Fines. The reason why Casey Fines is saying that about Mustafa is because he knows Mustafa from Stafford County, the lawsuit.
$500,000. Mustafa was suing the police for $500,000. In 2018, the police entered the house in the middle of the night.
Without a warrant.
Without a warrant. Charge you with assault by mob in your own home.
On your own property.
On your own property. And then turn around and say, oops, we messed up. They drop all the charges and say, we mistakenly came into your house.
By the way, you know why they dismissed the charges after 8 months? They dismissed the charges because, I mean, as you're looking right there, everything's on video.
We have a whole video of the whole
Everything's on video, by the way. You know, when they entered the house there, that camera cuts off. But that video was sent to a cloud. And they thought, by the way, when they went in, they wiped the drive completely empty. When we came back into the house 12 hours later, the hard drive was completely wiped. There was nothing, no footage at all. Okay? But
so they take over the house, delete everything.
They didn't know that somebody outside the house was recording this live as it was happening. So whatever they deleted, I mean, you still see the footage. It was saved to a cloud. And for 8 months, they were trying to figure out, does this family have video of this whole entire incident where this random guy comes onto the property and is alleging that he was assaulted by a mob? I mean, if you're in your own home, if you're sitting at home, you're a family. You're not a mob, okay? For someone to come onto your private property in the middle of the night, okay, and insult you and attempt to assault you and batter you, okay, and then call the cops and say you attacked him falsely. By the way, the guy that came onto the property, he had an active warrant from another county. So that night, he was arrested. And the police, by the way, they put his dad's name instead of him, as if his dad was on the property, not him, because he was arrested that night. He had a warrant. So they had to arrest him. And they put his dad's name as the person that was allegedly on the property. Isn't that crazy? I mean, that's...
So they turn around and say,
by the way, it turns out the guy tows for the police specifically.
That's beautiful.
He works for the police.
Okay, so that's a 2018 incident. Mustafa ends up suing the police. It's a $500,000 lawsuit that dragged on from 2018 all the way to the vehicle accident. It was an ongoing lawsuit.
I mean, the case was dismissed 2 weeks into Mustafa's arrest.
I mean, that's crazy. Okay,
the lawyer withdrew from the case, not dismissed. It was the lawyers withdrew from the case 2 weeks after Mustafa was arrested.
I find it disturbing that prosecutor Sarah Sammy stands in court and tells Judge Weimer, Your Honor, the reason that you have a body cam where an officer, Casey Fine, shows up and tells the main investigator on scene as soon as he shows up that this guy is on drugs is because of the 2018 incident. Wait.
How is that even?
How does that even make sense? So Brad Hayward wants the communication.
Exactly.
What communication that this officer is telling the main investigator that Mustafa's on drugs? Because we have Mustafa's toxicology. Mustafa's toxicology showed no alcohol, no drugs. But you have an officer that immediately, as soon as the main investigator gets on the scene, he put in a bias. Now the whole entire investigation steered in a direction where the main investigator, Robert Drum, who later falsified Mustafa's statement, says on body cam, wherever the fuck Mustafa goes, I need a blood draw.
By the way,
is that not a bias? I mean, you condemned Mustafa guilty the minute you showed up.
Let me point this out. What's his name? Rob Davis also made a statement on the scene. He said, I didn't know this guy. I didn't know this cat. But now I remember.
You have to let me play that body cam.
We were briefed about him. He said, we were briefed about him. So, once again, this bias against Mustafa, from the moment they find out it's Mustafa Al-Jazari, from that time, there was a bias, because clearly they all condemned him guilty, and they began muting, acting all weird. They were all doing all sorts of like shady stuff. They were all texting, and they're in group chats.
Do me a favor. Go over to body cam. Go to exhibits.
That communication between Rob Davis, Casey Fines, Robert Drum, Chad Mason, what's his name? Matthew Surdam, Chad Mason, and what's the other one? Some of these other officers. Davis. There was another one. Sean Peake.
Sean Peake.
Okay. It's very relevant what they were all saying to each other. And I guarantee you, they reached out to Sarah Sammy the moment they found out Mustafa Al-Jazari was the driver of the Chrysler. The moment they found out, they texted Sarah Sammy, because...
What if I show you a body cam that...
because who was after Mustafa?
Casey Fines.
Who was after Mustafa prior to the car accident? None other than Sarah Sammy.
What if I show you a body cam that you have Casey Fines on the phone with somebody? He's got a notepad, and he's taking down Mustafa's name, Dorothy's name, blah, blah, blah.
Duplessis.
Right? Duplessis. And
Officer
he says,
Duplessis.
And then as soon as he gets on scene, he says this to the main investigator. Let me play this body cam for you. There we go.
Where he says, I got his name, I got the girlfriend's name, the children.
This is crazy. I mean...
And then Chad Mason later that night, actually on the scene while they're searching the car, admits that patrol was following Mustafa.
Why? Does it have anything to do with Mustafa's lawsuit?
And does following him the night prior, following him around, patrol following him around and monitoring him, does that have anything to do with the bias on the scene and the way this narrative began the moment they found out it was Mustafa?
I've got a body cam that investigator Robert Drum condemns Mustafa guilty because of what Casey Fine is telling him. Do me a favor, go over to exhibit. I want to play this.
We're gonna get a few people through here if it's cool with you, just to get them out of here.
You know, I also want to mention something about the scene, the preservation of the scene.
Yeah.
No, after you're done with this.
All right.
Alright, SUV. So apparently I think the kid's dead, the mom's gonna die.
He said kid is still alive.
Okay. He's telling me that guy's probably drug related. I need a blood draw on doctor. Did anybody see exactly what happened?
This lady right here and this gentleman right here, they're both making written statements. I got all their info. This guy says that. Hold on 1 second. The Suburban is going eastbound in the straight lane. Chrysler is coming westbound in the straight lane and then just veers over into oncoming traffic and just hits her. He says he thinks the Chrysler's going about 50. They were going about 50, 55. And just head on. Yep.
Robert Drum, the main investigator, says he's telling me that this guy is on drugs. It's his fault. So he already condemned Mustafa guilty. You haven't reconstructed the accident. You haven't looked at the computer inside the car. You haven't looked at the dash camera in Mustafa's vehicle. You've already condemned Mustafa guilty the minute you showed up because Casey Fine is telling you he put a title on Mustafa. Let me show you a body cam. This is what Casey Fine is doing.
He put a label on him.
Put a label on him. He tell him this guy is drug related. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Mustafa's toxicology show no alcohol, no drugs. You show up and you put a label on Mustafa, and now the main investigator on another body cam says, wherever the fuck Mustafa goes, I need a blood draw. Let me show you this body cam.
Go ahead.
45, 20, that'll be 3. I'm already here. And then Mason and Wilhelm are on their way. All right, sir.
By the way, that's Mustafa. Right there. Right there is Mustafa. That's Mustafa. Laying in front of his vehicle, in and out of consciousness. And at one point, he goes into a coma, and he gets helicoptered to the hospital.
And he's being set up. He's being set up as he's laying there.
You lose your girlfriend. You lose the baby. You lost your family in a car accident. You're laying in front of your vehicle, fighting for your life. You're in and out of consciousness, and then you go into a coma, and you have an officer that's doing this.
On their way. All right, sir.
Take pictures while you do it.
anything else?
No. We'll figure out where the bodies are going in a minute. Witnesses, anybody say what happened?
Yeah, there's a lady right over here in the black. She saw everything.
Okay.
I believe. This car is the at fault. This is the driver of that vehicle.
Thank you.